Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing a reaction video to Angry Video Gamer Avgn episode 223. Let's do this. Here we go.
When it comes to retro games, sometimes the memories that stick out the most are not actually about the games themselves, but the commercials that would air on TV. Now, in the past, I've made many references to these commercials.
Hey, you still don't own a Sega CD?
Get the power.
Nintendo
power.
But it's about time we actually sit down and take a look at some of these commercials, because back then, I tell you, the airwaves were like the fucking Wild West. I mean, video game companies would do anything to advertise their product. They might do something weird, or something funny, or just something creepy, maybe. Well, let's take a look at some of the most memorable commercials from that crazy pastime.
Okay.
First up, all those Atari commercials.
Yeah.
I'm actually old enough to remember some of these. And here's that famous jingle.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you played Atari today?
No.
Have you? No? Well then, have you eaten breakfast? Have you gotten any exercise? Got any fresh air? Well, fuck all that. If you haven't played Atari today, then what are you doing with your life?
That's
Come on.
Question.
The fun is back. Oh, yes, sirree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
Hell yeah, the fun is back. Where did the fun go in the first place? Who knows? Who cares?
Now, isn't that nice? The fun
That's
is
a nice
back.
beat
Oh,
to it.
yes, sirree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
This little jingle left such an impression on me that whenever anybody says, isn't that nice, I always have to fight the urge to finish it with, oh yes, sirree, it's the 2600 from Atari. You got to get that Atari.
Atari.
Yeah, and then people look at me like, yeah, I'm old. But the Vanguard commercial is pure gold. You have these nerdy kids sitting around playing the game, but then, what happens when you can't beat the final boss? Well, hand the controller to some meat-headed bozo.
Yeah! But fellas, who destroys the gun?
Luther destroys the gun.
What? Luther, man. You don't fuck with Luther. What's the guy's deal? So either this dumb Hulk is the only guy who's skilled enough to beat the game, or has he bullied those kids into making them hand over the controller anytime they get to the end? Then there's this ad for Pitfall.
Just last night, I was lost in the jungle with Pitfall Harry, surrounded by
Wait, who
giant
is that?
scorpions.
Is that who I think it is? Is that isn't it?
Jack
It's Jack
Black.
Black. I'm asking, is that Jack Black? It must be. It has to be him.
Really?
Before he was Bowser, before he was trekking through the jungles of Jumanji, he was hyping up the pixelated perils of Pitfall.
Interesting. I got the fucking
Everybody
ad
knows
here.
Super Mario Brothers, but what about
Always.
plain-ass regular Mario Brothers?
Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
Well, in this ad for the Atari 5200, we see what must be one of the first live-action portrayals of the Mario Brothers. Well, at least Luigi appears here.
Mario, where are you?
Yeah, that was the catchphrase, I guess. Yeah, long before Let's Go, it was Mario, where are you? Oh, shut up, Luigi, motherfucker.
Well,
Now, at the time, as a
They
kid,
named
I
you
never
big.
thought that video games would ever advance beyond this. I mean, you move a joystick and stuff happens on the TV. That's crazy. How could it get any better than that? Well, then came Nintendo. No longer was it just about getting the high score. Now you had full-fledged adventures like Zelda. Best way to
Nintendo.
sell it was with two kids rapping in front of the TV.
Nope.
It's the Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad.
Who the hell does that? Imagine if you invited your friend over to play a game and you just started rapping.
With your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link, yeah.
Well, nothing said it better than Nintendo Power. It was like a doped-up MTV acid fest. But that magazine was loaded with so much power, it made the planet Earth explode. I'm backing that up. the planet Earth explodes. Damn. That magazine conjured up the apocalypse.
Now you find Nintendo Power worth some money now.
Now, speaking of power, there was the Power Glove. Now, everybody knows the Power Glove was a piece of shit, but from the commercial, you would never know. Now, I'm not talking about that famous scene in The Wizard, which was like an advertisement in itself.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
No, I mean the actual TV commercial. This was one of those times when they knew what they were doing. They made the Power Glove look awesome. Maybe it is awesome if you have a giant screen in a futuristic science fiction room.
The Power Glove.
They hyped it up in the most masterful, deceitful way. You could film a turd in an epic cinematic way and make it look like something you want. Well, they did a good job. You gotta hand it to them with the fucking glove on. But here's an example of a good commercial for a good product.
Batman, the video game.
Was a perfect movie tie-in. A rare example when it was done right.
For the Nintendo Entertainment System.
This commercial plays just like a movie trailer, and it is badass.
Let the battle begin.
And I love how Batman picks up his own game. But perhaps the greatest game teaser that I remember was one that didn't even need to show any clips from the game.
Mario! Mario! Mario!
All you had was a bunch of kids chanting Mario, and then we zoom back to see the entire Earth, and all those kids make up the face of Mario.
He's back.
That's Mario.
Wow.
Was asked.
Mario 3 is coming. What a statement. That this isn't just a game. This is a global phenomenon. One I'll never forget is that kid with the shrunken head who's playing Dr. Mario with the witch doctor.
I called the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He said, ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, tang, tang, walla-walla, bing, bang. That means play Dr. Mario on Game Boy.
That song is so catchy. I hadn't even heard it again until now, and it's already infiltrated my brain all over again.
I beat the witch doctor, and this is what he said. He said, ooh,
this commercial is insane.
And then he struck my head.
And that final line just nails it. And then he shrunk my head. I feel like as a kid, I just wanted to say that out of context all the time. Like, hey, Ma, I'm going outside to go roller skating at the cul-de-sac with Zach and Cody and Shannon. I'll be right back before dinner, okay? And then he shrunk my head.
No problemo.
Then in this series of commercials, there's this totally radical duo showing off the Game Genie.
Game over? No way!
They're like a poor man's version of Wayne and Garth and Bill and Ted all rolled into one.
Excellent! This is Game Genie from Galoo, the awesome video game enhancer for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Why are they so hopped up? You know, I don't think this is about the Game Genie. I think they got their hands on something else. Yeah, that genie gave him a wish, all right. Came in
too much monster
puff
energy.
Of smoke. Dude, it gets you fucked up. And tell me, why does the TV always have to explode?
I get it now.
Man, there's so much danger in these commercials. Like, you better watch out. These games are so hot, they might destroy your whole fucking house. And if you didn't think the 80s and 90s were that insane, well, ask anyone who's been whisked away to a fiery chasm to play Game Boy against a robot warrior. Yeah, that shit happened all the time. Totally normal.
Use the revolutionary video link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo.
I loved the Super Mario Land commercial, which put Mario into all those black and white movies like Earth vs. the Flying Saucers and The Mummy. But the one that probably stuck out the most to me was the sequel with Wario.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master.
When this commercial was on the air, you would probably see it like 10 times a day. I think I actually felt hypnotized.
Obey Wario. Destroy Mario.
I can never get that voice out of my head. Obey Wario.
Genesis done.
When the Sega Genesis dropped, it was like a whole new world. With their cocky, shit-talking ads, trashing Nintendo, it became clear the 16-bit era would be much more competitive.
You can't do this on Nintendo Genesis.
All it took was a catchy hook and some celebrity shots, and it made it feel like the hottest shit. As a kid, I was susceptible enough to think that Michael Jackson was actually endorsing the Sega Genesis. Nintendo answered with their next console, the Super Nintendo. The marketing wasn't as snarky as Sega's, and typically didn't even address Sega. Instead, they just showed off an impressive library of games. And wait a minute, is that Paul Rudd? Yeah, it's Paul Rudd! Man, we had no idea that kid was gonna go places. He's gonna be in Halloween 6.
Hey, that's really...
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Super Nintendo is a much more advanced machine than the Genesis, but that didn't matter. The misinformation campaign was in full swing, and all Sega had to say was, well, guess what? Genesis has blast processing. It didn't matter that it was just a gimmick. Kids believed it, and Sega rubbed it in your face. They actually made you feel bad for not owning a Genesis.
And what if you don't have blast processing?
And when it was clear they were actually losing, they went into life support mode by making add-ons like the Sega CD.
You still don't have a Sega CD? What are you waiting for, Nintendo to make one?
The CD.
What's the guy's problem? He makes it sound like you're a total loser for not owning a Sega CD. I mean, what the fuck, man? Just get a Sega CD already, asshole. And Nintendo, I mean, their idea of getting back at Sega was to do shit like this.
Huge Yoshi tricks, all served up with the latest graphic technology.
The fuck?
Dang.
Super Mario World
He's
2
gonna blow.
only on the Super
What
NES.
does a guy stuffing his face and exploding have to do with Yoshi's eyes? Nothing. Nothing at all.
Good question.
But all hell broke loose when Mortal Kombat came to the home consoles. The kid stands out on the streets, arms raised, and screams Mortal Kombat like his life depends on it. It's more than just a scream. It's a call to action, and the streets soon flooded with other kids who heard the call. No longer would the game be confined to the arcades where it was guarded by the quarter hogs. Now, we were taking it back on this day of our Lord, Mortal Monday. That scream was a call of freedom, a call that incited a riot over a video game? The Japanese commercials were even crazier, man. For Zelda: Link to the Past, they pulled out all the stops with an elaborate dance and rap. They weren't fucking around. This was the equivalent of a full-scale Broadway production. And seeing a live-action depiction of Ganon is a real treat. Yeah, I can't lie. I wish we had these commercials.
Looks like it.
'Cause it's pretty awesome. Yeah, all the Famicom Japanese commercials were the ones I wish I could have seen back then. And this is probably the closest you'll ever see to a live-action version of Street Fighter 2. Nowadays, you've seen enough cosplays and fan films and all that, so it's not very surprising. But back then, seeing these characters in the flesh and blood was pretty mind-blowing.
Yep.
The following generation gave us a new wave of whacked-out commercials. Some of the craziest came from the 3DO. The kid is so taken back by its awesomeness that he gets utterly destroyed.
Cool. Oh boy.
I mean, can you think of many ads that shows a kid's head rolling across the floor?
Dude's head is just cool.
And with the 3DO being a new contender in the console arena, they did not hold back at insulting both Nintendo and Sega.
The passive type probably plays Nintendo.
You're working late tonight.
Shit-talking was nothing
Yeah,
new,
put
but to
your
see
toys
actual
away.
abuse being done to the consoles was something else.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with?
Yeah, fuck those kids' toys. 3DO is the real deal. Then the Atari Jaguar came along, and since it had nothing to brag about, it hyped up Doom, which you could play on literally any other console.
Jaguar.
But they took it to biblical proportions, with a priest delivering a fiery sermon.
Filled with fire and brimstone, lost souls and demons, and how do you escape?
Imagine going to church and the priest is ranting about Doom. That would be my kind of church. One of the better Atari Jaguar games was Alien vs. Predator, and it also happens to be one of the scariest commercials.
You might not want to play it alone.
Ha, look at the kid's face. Give him some glasses and he looks like you know who. What the fuck? There's nothing like it. The alien is brushing him with his dead mom's arm. That is messed up. On that note, here's an ad for the FM Towns computer in Japan. What's going on here? What? Why is there a creepy face? It's like you blink and you almost miss it.
Always staring at it. Watch
I
it
would
change
pause
into
it, but
a
I don't even want to pause it. What the fuck, man? Why? Just why? It's safe to say they don't make them like they used to. This retro period was an isolated time when commercials were off the wall and batshit insane.
Nope.
But afterwards, nothing weird ever happened.
They
I would say by the
should.
time they got to PS3, they wouldn't do anything like that, would they?
Are you sure about that? They did. It did.
What the fuck?
Play me on. Yep. There's some good commercials, good throwback commercials. I like that. I wish they would bring like those style of commercials back with the games and stuff. Seeing that, so let's make it a little more horror too. You know, that'd be cool. You know, like do like a redo of that, but with newer, like a new generation and stuff, with newer people and stuff. You know, it'd be nice to see. That was really cool seeing all them throwbacks. That was a good episode. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction. Hit the like button and don't forget to smash that subscribe or turn on notification. That way you should miss an upload. And I will be back again with another reaction. Until then, hope you have a safe and wonderful day or night, depends when you're watching. I'd like to say thank you to all my subscribers who subscribe. Without you, I won't be doing these. So thank you, everybody. Take care, stay safe, stay humble, and be a blessing.